The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
All right, we're an hour away from Riot Fest 3-day passes. We're just talking about Riot Fest and potential possibilities. It's just always good to stir your brain every year about who could be there. I know who's here right now. Lauren's here. Yay.
Ahoy!
What's going on, girl?
I just heard you pronounce your name Haddad.
Yes, it's Brian Haddad.
Haddad.
Yes.
Not Haddad.
People can say it how they want. You know, it's kind of like, as Roker told us, that Chad Kruger of Nickelback. That's how you say his name. He says it.
No.
That's what he said, though. Everybody's saying it wrong. He got tired of correcting people, so it's Chad, not Chad Kroger. It's Chad Kruger.
No, it's not. I reject you, Satan. But also, why would I need to say his name? So it doesn't matter.
Well, he's one of the greatest songwriters and singers of our time, the voice of a generation.
I can't keep his name out of my mouth.
What are you talking about, Lauren?
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
Let's get to sports. It's a big day in spring training. I usually don't say that. Usually it's for people like my wife who went to Tampa to go to Philly spring training. And when I told somebody yesterday, just picked up my wife from the airport, just got back from spring training, someone said, is she trying out for the Phillies?
If anyone could,
hey,
your wife.
She was a college basketball player, not so much in baseball.
What
but
a lady.
It's nice to have a sports wife when I watch football. And actually, she breaks down the defenses for me and explains it to me. It's really nice. So White Sox at the Dodgers today at 2 o'clock out there in Arizona in spring training. Why is that important? Because Shohei Ohtani, the race for that player, we talked about many times. I wanted him. I was dying for the Cubs to spend that money and bring him in. The Dodgers took him for $700 million.
Which is a deal.
It is a deal because most of that money is deferred till the end of the contract. He's only really getting paid a couple million a year because he makes $50 million in endorsements every year. The guy is a machine, and he's a game changer. And why didn't the Cubs or the White Sox pay that money for him?
Well, is it cut in half this year since he's only hitting?
No,
He's not
it's
pitching until 2025?
Very good, Lauren. Very
You go
good.
back to the table, you're like, hey, all right, so it's half the stuff you normally do. Let's cut the salary in half. We'll revisit it next year.
Very good point.
Have a performance review.
If you're not in the know, he is a two-way player, maybe the greatest player of all time in that world. And he's not going to be pitching this year because he's working on an injury there, but he can still bat, which blows my mind, by the way.
Yeah.
I got a toothache right now. I barely got in today. and this mother effer can pitch and hit, but he can still hit while his arm hurts from pitching.
Yeah, not bad, right?
I mean, jeez, give him $1 billion. And that's my point. Listen, the White Sox, so it's his debut. This will be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on NBC Sports Channel. I believe they are the spring training games.
Yep.
So you can look at a guy that the White Sox could have gave, let's say they said, do it for $800 million and bring him in. Would that have filled guaranteed rate? Yes, it would have. I guarantee it would have been double the attendance this year, at least, with him on the field.
Well, I've mentioned this before, but the White Sox didn't even give their fans like myself false hope. They said in September, as they were restructuring their front office, they go, guys, just so you know, we're not in the Ohtani sweepstakes, not for us. We'll see you next year.
We don't really care about this team at all, in fact. We're just going to mess with you for the next year and threaten to take the team away or build a new stadium. So look over here.
Listen, Reinsdorf talked to the mayor of Nashville. I mean, there was a meeting about that. So instead, they're going to build a new stadium here for $4 billion. They could have gave, not less than a quarter of that to Ohtani, and that would have filled guaranteed rate, which he says is the problem, instead of building this new fake neighborhood 78 stadium they're going on over there.
Let me say real quick in regards to today's game. You obviously should watch because Ohtani's playing for the Dodgers. He's DHing. That's super fun. If you're a White Sox fan looking for hope, you have two things to look out for here. One, Yoan Moncada is raking in spring training. Now, he'll be hurt by mid-April.
Okay.
But let's enjoy it while it lasts. He is crushing it right now. I think he's hitting like 750.
Jeez.
Oof. Also, the White Sox, their top prospect is this guy, Colson Montgomery. He's like a 6'5 shortstop. He's number 35. I'm watching spring training just to see him take cuts. So if you need a little inspiration, maybe a little hope just to play charades with being a White Sox fan this year, watch spring training for Colson Montgomery.
Wow. That's a good report.
I can't wait for him to be a bust.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him. I really am. He sounds awesome. I've seen this song and dance before.
I feel like that's all I talked about in sports last year was he's hurt.
Yes.
Like he's hurt this week. He's great week. No, he's hurt. He's hurt. But like I said, I have a toothache, so I can't call these guys out. Come on. It's terrible. Staying with the White Sox Stadium, Governor Pritzker expressed, I love this report, skepticism about the state's role in that process of building a new stadium. I want to really quote these because these are gold. The governor said, I started out really reluctant. And unless a case is made that the investment yields a long-term return for the taxpayers of Illinois and Chicago that we can justify in some way, I haven't seen that yet. But he's, quote, rooting for the teams to succeed in business in the state. But Despite the look of the renderings provided by the proposed park, which I said, give me that all day. I'll eat that stadium all day. It looked amazing. The state can't prioritize the project at this time.
Okay, so he is considering giving taxpayers money.
Well, it sounds like he's not with these statements saying, hey, sure, the pictures look nice, the AI pictures you guys made of the stadium, but you haven't proved to us that it's going to bring in all this money you say it will. Now, we've had White Sox fans on the air saying, I'd love a new stadium, which shocked me in case. I'm a Cubs fan. What are you, Lauren? What side do you take?
I'm a Cubs fan.
Okay, that's usually what it is. Kenzie's a Cubs fan, but I was outnumbered last week with Roker being a Sox fan and Case being a Sox fan. Case does not want the new stadium. He loves guaranteed rates. Says it's one of the top 5 ballparks in the country.
I not only love it, I just wish that $1 billion would go towards players or coaches
he cares
or
about
trainers.
The team,
yeah.
Not the actual
I don't
facilities.
care where we can play in a barn for all I care. I just want a good team.
Also, guaranteed rate is not a dump.
No, it's great. It's easy to get to. The parking is super convenient. The fried pickles are great.
Yeah.
I just want to stay there and win.
Let me give you some stats. That ballpark opened in 1991. The Illinois Sports Facilities Authority, that's the government agency that owns and financed guaranteed rate through some of your tax dollars, still must pay off $50 million in debt on the park. It's been open for 33 years.
And they're still in the red?
Still in the red.
Okay.
With a ways to go.
Doesn't the governor have very deep pockets? Can't he personally fund whatever Jerry wants to do that's crazy? And then it's his own personal investment. He could probably write it all off because all those guys write everything off. Yeah. Do that. Fix the team. Let's go.
You don't even know what a write-off is, Lauren.
That's right. Can't do it.
I had to quote Seinfeld there.
Counterpoint to you, Lauren. Jerry could invest in what Jerry wants to and
true,
pay it
too.
off without any of the taxpayers' money.
Yeah. Well, just to keep in mind, again, not to get political this morning, but the state is $65 billion in a pension crisis debt situation where people that worked for the state of Illinois and think they have a pension coming. I think I have a pension coming with the Screen Actors Guild. I'm 22 years in the union, and there's people that worked for all the government agencies that run this city. They think they have a pension coming. It's $65 billion in debt on the pension right now. So talking about a new shiny stadium in a fake neighborhood, I don't know if that's going to work. Also, just to remind you, let's go deeper on Soldier Field. That renovation was 20 years ago, 22, let's say. They still owed $640 million on that.
Oh, my God. How does that even happen? Who's in charge of your books?
Well,
Sounds like
it's Chicago. It's Illinois. Envelopes of cash going out. So, listen, that doesn't mean the stadium's not happening because people seem to push these things through. We're still waiting for a Bears stadium, waiting for a White Sox stadium. In the meantime, Cody Bellinger's playing for the Cubs, and I'm very happy about that.
Good for you.
That's all I care about this point.
God, that'd be nice.
Finally, the NFL Combine started today in Indianapolis, and people talking a lot about it. It's still 2 months away, really, the draft. But, of course, Caleb Williams, USC quarterback, Bears take him number 1. He's not going to throw today. That's what he said. He said, I'm not going to throw this week. So let me get this straight. You're a quarterback. You throw the damn ball.
That's what you want to get
Yikes.
straight.
That's what you do. And you're talking about trying to convince a team that might be a little questionable on you and their own quarterback, Justin Fields, to take me. I'm not going to throw.
Maybe he woke up with a toothache, you know? Who are you to judge?
Listen, I can't. You're right. Caleb, if you have a toothache, just keep being you,
Take
bro.
the day, man.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, 312-591-8300. Get on the phones right now for Alana Glazer tickets for the Chicago Theater. She's on the show Broad City, hilarious. And when you can play the Chicago Theater, you are making it as a comedian.
She was also in The Night Before.
Oh, okay.
With Seth Rogen.
Yes.
And she was the Sticky Bandit.
Yeah.
I love her.
So 312-591-8300. Call now to compete for the tickets against Lauren in trivia.
It'll be the easiest trivia you've ever played.
That's not a selling point. Everybody, come on in. Let's
get
give this
these
a shot.
tickets, baby.
So while you're doing that, I wanted to play some audio for you. Yesterday during the show, of course, we played during sports right at this time, the Patrick Kane goal that I just listened to it again. It is unbelievable of Patrick Kane coming here from the, obviously on the Red Wings now, but what he did here, you know that, for the decade of 15 years of Chicago. Greatest American-born player of all time. And this was the goal, beating the Blackhawks in the Blackhawks' house, the Madhouse.
It's Patrick Kane in Chicago! Oh my God! Kane with the overtime winner! The Red Wings win it 3-2! The story is complete on Kane's return to Chicago!
Such disrespect.
Well, it's an amazing call. I get it. I would have been cheering too. If I was there, I would have been standing up and cheering. But I heard somebody this morning, this is kind of like one of those good news things, of a medical school class that found out that they're going to get their tuition for free.
Oh.
So $1 billion donation. $1 billion help these kids all go to school for free to become doctors.
That's incredible.
Now, here's the announcement of that, okay?
Oh, no.
I'm happy to share with you that starting in August this year, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine will be tuition free.
So that's all the students in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
It reminded me of the Patrick Kane goal when I heard that. Oh, that night, so tuition free.
Tuition free.
Okay, now back to Patrick Kane scoring the goal. Let's hear that difference on that.
The Red Wings win it 3-2. The story is complete.
Actually, you know what? The kids sounded louder, didn't they?
Yeah, they were a little more jacked. They're like, yes!
To know you're not $300,000 in debt to become what you want to become, it's pretty special.
Order DoorDash and not feel guilty.
That's right.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
You can't defeat her. She's too powerful.
Clash with Kenzie.
Let the battle begin.
Q101.
And in for Kenzie is Lauren, who's usually on at 10 a.m. after the show. So do that when she's not here with us. I mean, stay here with us.
Specific?
Yeah, like make sure you stick around Q101 all day is what I'm trying to say.
There we go.
And she got up about 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours earlier to join us today while Kenzie's on maternity leave, so take her on in trivia. And it'll be Sarah in Elmwood Park. Let's go. Sarah, ahoy, tell us something really quick about yourself.
Hi, I'm a speech therapist in a school, and I collect isopods, roly-polies.
What you know what those are?
Yeah, roly-polies.
What
You
are
know what a
those?
roly-poly is?
I don't think I do.
It's a bug that when you touch
Pill
it,
bugs.
they're what? I don't know the professional name, but you like touch them and then they roll up into a ball and they roll away.
Oh, what, you collect them?
Yeah, they're my pets. They live in a little terrarium, and they eat leaves and little dried shrimp, and they're just a quiet little pet.
Do they know that they're a pet, or are they slaves?
They're like 35 million years old. I think they just live their own lives.
Yeah, they just go along with it at this point.
Yeah.
They've
I
They
lost
can
their
really
free
fight
will.
back. They don't have like stingers or anything.
Sarah, I think you pressed out their wills to live. They're just trying to get through the day now.
Yeah. I mean, they can't roll.
When's that lady gonna come with the dried shrimp?
I mean, they probably thought originally to roll up in a ball forever when they got in the tank with her, and they're like, oh, this is exhausting.
Oh my God.
Fine, I'll be a pet.
Sarah, how did this start? What convinced you to do this, to collect these?
My child is just obsessed with bugs, and I took her to the insect asylum on Milwaukee, and they allowed us to adopt a few.
Wait, you can take home insects?
I don't think you normally can, but my 2-year-old was adamant, so they made an exception.
Oh,
I get that.
You stole them then.
Yeah.
You stole them.
I think Insect Asylum is playing Riot Fest this year.
Check them out on that 5th stage.
Absolutely.
All right, so here we go. First one to 5 wins. Listen carefully. If Lauren gets one wrong, you can steal a point. She can do the same with you. Call heads or tails. 1, 2, 3.
Tails.
Ah, it's heads. Can't see the heads of those bugs rolled up because they're hiding from her all the
geez,
time.
man.
All right, here we go.
Sorry.
So Lauren's first, right?
Yes.
Lauren, which Kennedy was assassinated in 1968? Which Kennedy?
John?
No, it was not. It was not John. Let's see. Back to Sarah.
Yes.
Robert?
It was Robert Kennedy.
Oh, man.
Robert, very tragic. With a lot of problems in that family.
No, it's really awful.
Yeah, it's
it was
terrible.
a really sad death.
Yeah, it was. I mean, not many of them are good.
Really glad that guy's gone.
Yeah, tragic.
Well, it's 1-0. It's back to Sarah.
Sarah, which sport has been played on the moon?
Basketball?
No. Only basketball.
That sounds awesome, though.
Well, you got no
You know,
gravity.
you know what that would be like? That would be like slam
It
ball.
would be
Slam,
like slam
ball.
ball.
Remember late night slam ball on the trampolines? They played basketball when you would come home buzzed from the bar and they'd slam ball be on. I'd watch that till 3 in the morning.
Very specific
No,
memory.
definitely not.
I used to love slam ball.
Well, there's no gravity, so
Yep.
maybe something on the ground like shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard, no. They played golf. In fact, I think it was Buzz Aldrin that snuck a club onto Apollo 13 and went out there, and then he drove a ball, and it's still going.
How do you sneak a golf club anywhere?
You know,
what
back
I'm
then,
curious.
they didn't have the rules back then. They have TSA, pre-check, and all that stuff on the lunar lander. It was much easier, much better time, I've heard.
Simpler time.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's 1-0, but it's back to Lauren. She needs a point here.
Lauren, what food is the leading source of salmonella poisoning? What food?
Probably chicken.
It is chicken.
Yeah!
That's right.
I had that once. It's terrible.
From chicken?
God, yeah.
Oh.
Don't have barbecues at 10 o'clock at night where the cook can't see the actual chicken on the grill and then when you eat it, you can't tell it's pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Sounds like you should have been watching Slam Ball at that time. Instead of grilling out.
Probably would have threw up less.
All right, back to Sarah, 1-1.
Sarah, how many arms does a starfish have?
5.
5 is right. And back to Lauren. What color sweater does Velma wear in Scooby-Doo? Velma?
Velma is the one with the glasses. Is it purple?
It's not purple. Sarah, do you know?
Orange.
It's orange. Very confidently there.
Yeah, there you go. She's up 3-1. It's back to Sarah.
Sarah, Hugh Jackman plays which character in the X-Men movies?
Wolverine.
Oh, the best.
She's on a roll.
On a roll. Back to Lauren. Lauren, what are the names of Timmy Turner's fairy godparents in the Fairly Odd Parents?
What? Don't do this to me.
You got a kid. You should know this.
Yeah.
I should know that?
Yes.
So the names of Timmy Turner's fairy godparents in the Fairly Odd Parents show.
I don't know this.
No, you don't know?
Guess some names.
Bob and Sandy.
That's right. That's not right. Sarah for the win?
I don't know. His sister's Vicky.
Oh, so you know the show?
Yeah, Sisters Vicky.
3, 2.
Bob and Lisa. I don't know.
Cosmo and Wanda.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I knew it.
How could I forget?
There you
A
go.
very popular show.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 4-1. Sarah, it's her question. She can win a lot of Glazer tickets with the correct answer.
Sarah, what country is the band The Cranberries from?
Ireland?
Ireland is right. Good job.
That was awesome.
They're going to see Alana Glazer. That will be at the Chicago Theater Wednesday, March 13th from our great friends at Live Nation and, of course, from Brian and Kenzie here on Q101.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Clash with Kenzie. The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Now, if you like free stuff, coming up in 25 minutes, 8 o'clock, Riot Fest, 3-day passes for everybody listening. You just got to sit, listen, and win.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and coming up 20 minutes away, 8 a.m., Riot Fest 3-day passes. We've got that all week long here as the partner of Riot Fest. We love those guys. They love us, I think. I might be presuming a little bit too much, but I think they love us.
They love us.
Yeah.
Like in an inappropriate way.
Inappropriate?
Inappropriate. Yeah.
Okay.
We love them inappropriately right back.
That's very much us. Before we continue on, Lauren just got a text about Sarah that was in Elmwood Park who checked in and said she has roly-polies, those bugs that you touch them, and then they curl up into a ball, and she got them at the Insect Asylum in Milwaukee, which sounds like a terrifying place.
Sounds like these insects did something real bad.
Yeah, really bad. But what's our text say here?
Well, first of all, everybody wants to be friends with Sarah on social media, which I think is adorable.
That is? Just because the bugs, or?
I guess.
Well, she seemed nice.
Yeah, she's a nice person.
They're
I'd
hoping
hang out with
for
her.
some quality roly-poly content in their timelines, probably.
Also, Elmwood Park, wonderful place.
Yeah.
A lot of incredible food, Italian food over there, and maybe just a camaraderie in the neighborhood, you know?
And Chad from South Bend says, fun fact, a pillbug or roly-poly, it's not actually an insect at all. It's the only land-based crustacean, so it is more closely related to a crab.
Ew.
Ew.
I just can't imagine knowing that. I would have nothing to do with that information.
Well, this is why I
coming
love our
from
people.
you is saying a lot, because you know everything about everything.
Not about animals. I don't know anything about animals.
He doesn't know as much as you think.
Yeah, I haven't seen Armageddon, so I haven't been on this earth a long time. I don't know a lot.
Yeah. So basically, those are captives because they probably have feelings, unlike insects, right?
Probably.
That's all I'm just trying to say here. Set them free. Set them free, Sarah. Set them free.
Let them go. Let them live.
Then again, people in Elmwood Park don't want a bunch of roly-polies running around there.
Dude, I have so many roly-polies in my garden.
Really?
So many.
It's weird because being a city dweller, I know you're on the northwest side, and I'm on the north side here, North Center and all that, but I took Harper to my brother's house up in Glenview over the weekend. Beautiful. And she's never seen a yard before.
Oh, my God.
That's a really funny thought.
So I took her out and let her run free. It's a fenced-in backyard. Yeah. And she ran like 14 steps. She's 15 months old, by the way. She's not like 18, but she's 15 months old, in case you're new to the show. And she started running, and then she stopped and started crying, screaming.
Oh, no.
Because she didn't know what she was walking on. It was soft. She walks on concrete in the city, and we take her to parks. Don't get me wrong. She's not like, she's not locked in 23 hours a day on solitary. But she never saw a fenced-in yard and been let go to run.
She's a hard-ass Chicago born and bred, baby.
Damn straight.
We don't need no grass.
Although she did cry with grass, so I don't know how tough she is anymore. But she just never saw a yard. It was very a unique experience.
She's just taking it all in.
Yeah,
There were tears of happiness.
Yeah, I don't think so. They weren't a little scared, fear.
It's weird to think she'd be more comfortable in a prison yard than a backyard.
That's Chicago for you there. That's some facts there. Coming up, speaking of, neighbors and yards and the burbs and all that kind of thing, how did your neighbor screw you? Want to hear from your stories? Please tell us these stories. Texting is great, but we'd love to hear your voice on this one. 312-591-8300. How did your neighbor screw you? Because I have a story about something going on in Chicago that's going to screw a whole bunch of neighbors, and they don't even know it yet. They don't even know it.
You're going to break the news?
I'm going to break it at 7:50, so stay here.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Well, about 9 minutes away from your chance at Riot Fest 3-day passes here with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Lauren here in for Kenzie on maternity leave. I probably should have phrased that question differently. I said, how did your neighbor screw you over? And, of course, the text line came in with some very inappropriate comments.
Yeah, congratulations to the 630 because he said, I know it wasn't the correct interpretation, but he had him thinking, literally, we're now getting married this week.
Oh, congratulations.
That's adorable.
Well, I'm glad I worded it how I did then.
You made that happen. You did that.
Oh, I should be at the wedding. I'm a ordained minister.
Are you really?
From
which website?
The Universal Life Church of San Diego, California.
Oh, I've heard a lot of things about that church.
I married 11 couples, and I don't know.
At once?
Once. I did it as a little, thingy.
A sludge thing.
A sludge thing.
We all do shots of Jaeger, man. You're married. Whoa.
That was exactly right. Do a shot of Jaeger. You're married.
That's his holy water. He just blesses his Jägermeister. Here you go.
I already did baptisms too. In Jaeger.
Yeah, it stings your eyes, but
I'm not sure I'm still legal because I think you have to get re-upped. But anyway, I can marry those people if they'd like me to. I'll check out my status as a priest.
At the very least, you could hang out at the wedding, open bar.
Ooh, love that. So what I was talking about is maybe your neighbor, you have a disagreement with your neighbor and you're fighting with them. Now, check in at 312-591-8300. This is how Chicago is screwing over some neighbors. Now, you have to go back a little bit to the wonderful time of 2007, pre-first recession. If anybody lived through that, I don't even know if we're in a recession now or not. I just know things are really expensive.
Well, the stock market's doing okay.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be doing great. I go to the grocery store and I spend $200 on one bag of Jewel. So I don't know if everybody else is doing so great. But there was a project called the Chicago's Spire, I guess it's called. Not Spear, Spire.
Which I thought that was the hole in the elbow of the river, right?
Correct. Right near my favorite pizza place, Robert's Pizza, over there in the inlet right by Navy Pier.
I love your directions because it always has to do with where you like to eat. Yeah, remember that sandwich shop that I like in Glenview Heights? Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So there's also a great, my favorite Mediterranean place pitched on the rivers right there as well.
Okay.
It's a little slip of the river before, it's kind of hard to find, but it's a beautiful spot over off the Illinois Street on your way to Navy Pier. If you go to the fireworks, go check out those restaurants out. They're wonderful.
Sidebar, you should do a map of Brian's favorite places to eat.
That's just all of the restaurants in the city.
I know. It's just everywhere.
No, I'm very picky. I'm very select. I have favorites of every genre, and I'll put those push pins on a map, and we'll get that up and running.
I've seen you eat a dry-ass bagel. You are not picky about anything. You'll put anything in that hole.
Touche. So the Chicago Spire was this building that was supposed to be 116 stories high. This is post 9/11, by the way, and it was going to be the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. And it was going to be this kind of circular, looked like a
drill bit.
Yeah, like a drill bit. That's a good way to say it. And people were going to live in it. And it was going to be, condos and hotel and all this stuff. And it would have looked unbelievable on the water because it's right there before, if you're heading southbound on Lakeshore Drive, so right before you go over the river. But the hole is still there. Now, when the recession hit, they ran out of money, and they're just sitting there. There's a big-ass hole in the ground over there.
Wouldn't it be cool to say, I live in the bit?
Yeah.
That sounds like some inside Chicago stuff, yeah.
Back in the day, people live in the Hancock. They call it, say, I live in the cock.
Well, yeah. They still say that.
So the bit would have been over there, and they ran out of money. This hole has been in the ground, this deep hole with this crappy little chain link fence around it. If you go over and look over there, I can't believe no one's fallen in or a dog has actually died.
How would we know if they did?
True.
That's true.
Unless, somebody may push somebody in, didn't like him,
My hearing is not that good. If you fall in a hole, I'm not hearing it.
Yeah. You just figure they went home on their own if you were walking with them?
Home, yeah. Oh, my God. We had such a lovely day together. It's a shame you fell in that hole.
Oh, man. So this building there's nothing there for 15 years. Now they said they're going to announce these 2 huge-ass buildings, and construction's going to start. It's going to be a double high-rise, and they're also in that range of 100-story buildings right on the water there. Now, since that time, other buildings have gone up around downtown Chicago. These 2 buildings are going to block the view of all those people that paid millions of dollars for those condos right near it. Like that big St. Regis building that's got like 3 levels on it. It's kind of in their view now. It's going to block their view. People paid all this money for that, and now these other buildings are going up to block them.
So just to make sure I understand, so they found developers who will fill the holes, and those holes are going to block the views of other millionaires.
Yeah.
Correct. Now you got
Exactly.
it.
Wow.
There you go.
The city's changing. The city is changing.
I'm pretty sure if you bought a place right there, you're like, oh, we got a beautiful view of this hole.
Yeah.
I mean, someday something is going to fill it. It's like moving in next door to an empty lot.
Mm-hmm.
You're hoping one day something will go up.
Right.
In the meantime, during construction, it sucks because you're next to it.
I don't know. I would rather have the empty lot. I don't want people living next to me. I'm not very neighborly.
That's true.
I don't need that.
It's not the first word I think of when I think of case. It's so neighborly.
I'm scared to know what that word might be.
I'm right by that hole. There is a newer building that's low. So this building's going to completely block their lake view when it goes up. And again, I'm not saying you feel sorry for millionaires, but hey, they bought these condos and some people spent a lot of money on them, wanted to have this nice place, and now this building's going to go up and screw them.
I wish you still lived downtown, and I wish this affected you because I could see you creating a lot of different petitions and writing a lot of different memos. I could see this really upending your life if it affected you specifically, Brian.
New platform if he's running for mayor?
Exactly,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been to board meetings and I've been to city council meetings in my neighborhood when I owned a condo to make sure things were getting done right around my building.
What did that sound like? Hey, what do we got to do here?
What are you, Polly Walnuts?
We got to fill this hole, but it's got to be a lot shorter than what you're talking about.
I love Lauren's mob impression. I didn't know she had that in her pocket.
I doubt anyone's going to miss you. We know what to do with the body. We got a hole.
Lauren Soprano over here.
I know. I didn't know she had this in her.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
I'll say this. You think I'm funny? Like a clown?
You think I'm funny? Like a clown? What am I, a clown to you?
Oh, my God, Lauren, great. So anyway, that's the premise of this question we brought to you, and it gets a lot of texts in of how you've had some disagreements or things that your neighbors did to kind of screw you over. Lauren, what do you got on the text line there?
So Frank says his neighbor wants to sue him for $15,000 over a handshake, an actual handshake, not the Chicago handshake, which understood.
Yeah.
Upon meeting my neighbors to discuss a discrepancy about parking on the easement, I introduced myself and hands in hopes of a peaceful resolution. Once it became apparent that we would not agree, my neighbor then claimed I squeezed her hand excessively and filed a lawsuit.
Wow.
I just turned it into my homeowner's insurance, and they settled out of court for a couple thousand.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm sorry. I'm on Frank's neighbor's side here.
What?
Every tough guy loves coming in and squeezing a hand on a handshake. I'm not an over the top. I don't need you to show me how tough you are. Go a little light with the handshake, and if you hurt my hand, you're going to hear from my lawyers.
Oh my God.
You're one of those then.
What do you mean by one of those?
You're
Exactly.
Just be a victim your whole life and just collect money and do frivolous lawsuits, and eventually they pay him to go away, just go away for a little while. She got a couple grand for a damn handshake.
Ridiculous.
Well deserved. Frank, I'm sorry you went through that. Next time, think before you shake.
Yeah.
Like the lady who sued for her coffee being too hot, her hot coffee.
Well, it gave her third-degree burns.
I also want to note that I was against handshakes pre-pandemic.
This is your claim to fame.
I don't like handshakes. I don't like shaking hands. I'm a germaphobe to that point. And I just don't like it anyway. I wouldn't sue over it, but when people reach their hand out to shake it, I kind of just go like, have my hands in my pockets. What's up? A little head nod. What's up? I don't need to shake. Shaking hands should have been outlawed before the pandemic. I don't like it.
Oh, that is a hot take.
It's not. I just don't like it. It's gross.
Do you do the fist bump instead, a little elbow bump?
Yeah, I don't like. But that's also. I don't want to do that. But I have no other choice. I don't want to touch
Skin on
it.
skin.
I don't want to touch
How are
it.
you going to get something in your hole if you don't want to touch people, Brian? Good Lord.
Oh, Jesus, Case.
My mouth can get places without my hands.
That's what I've heard.
Put that on a t-shirt.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.